What do I look for in a chin rest? Well, there are several things I look for. I look for support. I look for comfort. I look for enhancement of my sound. So I have to find a chin rest that gets all those things for me. The first thing is my sight line. When I'm playing my instrument, it's really important how I'm looking at the instrument. So some chin rests kind of make me hold the instrument to the side like this, and that gives me a look from the side. Let me show you over this way. So now if my head's down this way and it's too far from the center of the instrument, then if I put a bow right in the middle of my eyes over there, you'll see that there's a real angle that comes from this side of the instrument into this side. And that gives me a false look at where my bow is on the string. When I do that, my bow tends to look like this because it looks straight right there. And you'll see the bow is crooked. So even though I'm looking down and the bow looks straight, well, the bow is crooked on the string. And what I'm looking for is a really good solid way of having the bow look straight and it being straight. So I figured out that if I put my head like this and I put the bow right between my eyes and I get a place where you can see that the bow is parallel to the strings right there, that's going to give me my best vision of my bow touching the string. Then when I put my bow down like that, it's straight. And that's awesome because it gives me a really good look of what's going on here. One of my friends told me the most important part of playing is this, the cross. And I was like, what do you mean? Well, the cross means the angle between the bow and the string is a cross. So when I put my bow on the string, I have a cross right here. And that is how the bow is straight. And so when I'm taking a look down here, I can see that my cross stays the same. And that way I have a nice straight bow and my sound can be clearer. So that's awesome. That's one great thing about a chin rest. Now the next thing is a little bit more complicated. When I'm playing, after I take the instrument away, and while I'm playing, I want my head to be in the same place. So if I stand normally like this, I don't want to look like this after I take my instrument away or while I'm playing my instrument because I'm going to get neck problems. So I want my body to have good posture and I want to be just in a regular posture. And then I can avoid physical problems while playing, which is really one of the goals of a lot of us. We try to avoid physical problems. So how do I do that? Well, what I did was I got a nice raised chin rest over here. So this chin rest is much higher than most. And what that affords me is that I can have my head nice and high like this. And you can see while I'm holding the instrument like this, when I take the instrument away, I'm just talking normally. So when I use an instrument that uses a lower chin rest, it looks like this. So here's a lower chin rest. And when I put my head down on it, I tend to come down into the instrument like this. Then when I take the instrument away, I'm looking like this. Well, if I do this all day, I am definitely going to have a neck problem. So I have to be really careful about that. And I always look for the chin rest that supports me, that I can keep my body in great alignment. That is the key word, the alignment of my body. So what's another benefit of having a raised chin rest? Well, one of the biggest ones is that when I'm using a chin rest that's lower and a shoulder rest that's higher, it means the instrument comes up like this. So my instrument actually goes higher. And that means I have to kind of reach up to reach it. And that tends to give me shoulders that come up. And one really important thing about playing is that my shoulders are nice and low. So what I do is I lower my shoulder rest. So I don't want my shoulder rest to be too high. I want it to be supportive. I use the Eiffel shoulder rest, of course. I want it to be supportive, but I don't want it to be too high. Rather, the height that I get to fill in the gap over here comes a lot from the chin rest being higher. And that's really important. So what I do is with the higher chin rest, instrument is lower and I'm able to keep my arms lower. And that way, I get a lot more of a sinking feeling with my body. And that is exactly what I want. So basically, those are the three things that I look for the most in a shoulder rest. The first one being the way that I can look down the instrument and get a clear sight. The second being the fact that it helps my posture and it keeps my body in great alignment. You can see over here that my neck is nice and straight. And the third is that my instrument is a little bit lower so that I can sink into the string. Well, I hope that helps you. And until I see you the next time, happy practicing.